Hey, what's up, tennis fans? I'm James Waterson, and I've got your Tennis Now tennis news for September 4th, the 7th day of the US Open. We'll start with Rafael Nadal, who had a relatively interesting day today. He faced a potentially tough opponent in David Nalbandian in his third round match, and it was a tough match. Nadal fell behind a break of serve in the first set, but he broke Nalbandian when the Argentine served for it at 5-4. The tiebreaker was close, but Nadal just had too much class. He took the momentum into the second set, and he won it in less than half an hour. Nalbandian found his game again in the third set, but in all broke his serve at 6-5 to clinch the match with a final score of 7-6, 6-1, 7-5. Afterwards, he went into the press conference room for what should have been a routine interview, but then word got out that he had actually collapsed during the interview, and the news spread across social media pretty quickly. Tennis Now's Lauren Lynch was actually in the room with Nadal, and we'll go to her to find out what really happened.
Thank you, James. Well, basically what happened with Rafael Nadal, there just had been the English interview, Tennis Now got their question in, and then it was going over to this Spanish interview, and before the Spanish interview started, Rafa had kind of a strained look on his face. He tilted his head back, then he stood up and lay down on the ground. Everybody had the misunderstanding that he had collapsed and that he had fallen, but he actually didn't fall. He decided to lay down. At no point did he lose consciousness, and all the media was escorted out, and when the media got escorted out, it kind of got sensationalized. People were freaking out, people were saying, oh my gosh, Rafael Nadal is out, blah blah blah. And luckily I ran over to some live streaming and I was watching what was going on. They started stretching his leg, they brought in some Gatorade, they brought in some ice. So at that point I figured he had gotten a cramp. I wasn't sure though yet. Then they had some people sit him up and he kind of looked out of it, but then we saw him break a few smiles, so I thought, oh yeah, it'll probably be okay. And then soon after he stood up, and then we were told to come in, and he left his statement. And in the statement, all he said was, guys, this is no big deal. I just had some pain in my front and back thigh. And then after all was said and done, he was telling everybody, stop asking questions. That's all that happened. Andy Roddick commented on it later on and said, that happens to players all the time. It just was unfortunate that it happened in front of all the media, and everyone got really worried. As for now, Rafael Nadal is fine. He will be probably defending his title, and we'll look forward to watching him do that. Back to you, James.
Thanks a lot for that report, Lauren. Moving on, we now have 4 Americans in the 4th round of the US Open, the first time this has happened since 2003. We'll start with Donald Young, the 22-year-old who is hailed as the future of American tennis when he was 15 years old. On Friday, Young won perhaps the biggest match of his career when he took down Stanislas Wawrinka in a 5-set thriller. Many times a young player would follow that kind of performance up with something a little bit more lackadaisical, but not Young. Today he took down 24th seeded Juan Ignacio Chela 7-5, 6-4, 6-3, making it the first time he's beaten 2 top 30 players in consecutive matches in his career, and the first time he has reached the 4th round of a major tournament. Meanwhile, Andy Roddick booked his spot in the round of 16 when he beat French wildcard Julien Benneteau 6-1, 6-4, 7-6. He'll play David Ferrer, who beat Florian Mayer in straight sets earlier today, in his next match. In non-American news, Gilles Simon came back from a set down to take out a tired-looking Juan Martín del Potro in 4 sets. On the ladies' side, Flavia Pennetta beat Peng Shuai in straight sets, and 92nd ranked Angelique Kerber of Germany reached her first Grand Slam quarterfinal after she defeated Monica Niculescu of Romania 6-4, 6-3. And in other news, Roger Federer and Andy Murray have officially qualified for the ATP World Tour Finals. Murray was the 3rd man after Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal to qualify. He did so when he came back from 2 sets down to beat Robin Haas in his 2nd round match on Friday. Meanwhile, Federer got in when he beat Marin Cilic on Saturday. That leaves 4 spots left for the Elite Tournament, which is held in London in late November. The players who could make it there include America's #1, Mardy Fish, David Ferrer, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, and more, and how they play in the US Open could have a huge impact on their chances. It should be really interesting to see how it all develops, so make sure to stay tuned. Now we've got some huge matchups tomorrow. Mardy Fish will take on Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in the last afternoon match on Arthur Ashe, Ana Ivanovic plays Serena Williams, and Janko Tipsarevic battles Juan Carlos Ferrero. In the night matches, Caroline Wozniacki takes on Svetlana Kuznetsova, and they're followed by Roger Federer taking on Juan Monaco. So that'll do it from us. Now, for more on what I just talked to you about, go to tennisnow.com, and you can also find other news stories, analysis, opinion, and instruction, so go and have a look for yourselves. You can also follow tomorrow's matches on our live scores page, or if you're a social media junkie, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and have an excellent day.